Samsung just announced 5 new products at Unpacked today. All of them are getting price increases except for one, and you might be surprised at which one. As you probably know, Samsung announced the Galaxy Z Fold 7, the Galaxy Z Flip 7, the Galaxy Z Flip 7 FE, the Galaxy Watch 8. In Galaxy, all these devices are available for pre-order right now, and they will start shipping by July 25th. Let's start out with the Galaxy Z Fold 7 because I believe that is the largest update of all of these new products. The biggest update here is going to be that thinness. So Samsung's obsession with making thinner devices is continuing here with the Galaxy Z Fold 7. Also with the Galaxy Watch 8. But with the Galaxy Z Fold 7, we're looking at it being about 4.2 millimeters thick when unfolded and about 8.9 millimeters when folded. The front display is also going to be quite a bit wider. So unlike the couple millimeters that we get each year on each Galaxy Z Fold 7 or on each Galaxy Z Fold, we're actually getting a pretty substantial update on the front. This does make it feel about the same size as a regular smartphone, with the same kind of aspect ratio. And this actually fixes a couple of the really big issues that we've had with Samsung's foldable devices. That front skinny display is so hard to use. Even one-handed is very hard to use. Now that is gone. The thickness is also fixed. Last year it was about 12.1 millimeters when folded, and that was just really a brick. That was like carrying 1.5 Galaxy S25 Ultras, which is not light at all. So it's great to see that they've addressed both of those finally. It took them several years, but they've done it. This does bring it down to about the second thinnest foldable in the world right now. Only the Honor Magic V5 beats it, and it's about 0.1 millimeter difference on both measurements. And that was just announced last week. Internally, we have the Snapdragon 8 Elite for the Galaxy Z Fold 7. We also have 12 gigabytes of RAM on the 256 and 512 gigabyte models. The 1 terabyte model does get a jump up to 16 gigabytes of RAM. Now there is some bad news for the Galaxy Z Fold 7, especially for S Pen fans. We've been worried that Samsung might not bring S Pen functionality to the Galaxy Z Fold 7. After all, we did not see it with the Galaxy Z Fold 6 Special Edition last year, and that's because Samsung decided to make the phone so thin that it had to get rid of the digitizer for the S Pen. And leading up to today's event, we did not see any leaks for an S Pen case or any S Pen at all, and that's because it doesn't have S Pen capability. Which kind of makes me think that they might be getting rid of the S Pen, at least for smartphones, keeping it for tablets and laptops. And that comes after Samsung kind of nerfed the functionality on the Galaxy S25 Ultra earlier this year. Samsung says their users wanted a thinner phone more than they wanted S Pen functionality. And by getting rid of that digitizer in the display, they're able to increase the thickness of the ultra thin glass, making it more durable. Now the Galaxy Z Fold 7 is available for pre-order today, as I mentioned already. And it did get a price increase, so it is now $19.99, which marks the second straight year that Samsung has raised the price by $100. This also brings it back to the price of the Galaxy Z Fold 2. The original Galaxy Fold launched at $19.80, then the second model launched at $19.99, and after that, Samsung dropped it to $17.99, which has stayed until we got to the Galaxy Z Fold 6 last year, where it jumped back to $18.99. It is available in 4 colors. We have Blue Shadow, which is my personal favorite, Jet Black, and Silver Shadow. I will say with the Silver Shadow, you might have to worry about fingerprints. During our hands-on, we saw that there was a lot of fingerprints on that silver model, though it was getting used a lot more than it normally would be. And Samsung does also have a Samsung.com exclusive color, which is going to be the mint. It looks really great, though it is very light, so in some lights it does look almost white instead of a mint color. But that's the Galaxy Z Fold 7. Now let's talk about the 2 new flips. So start off with the Galaxy Z Flip 7 FE. It is basically a Galaxy Z Flip 6 from last year, but with a different chipset. So we're looking at the Exynos 2400 inside the Galaxy Z Flip 7 FE. The rest of the specs are pretty much the exact same as the Galaxy Z Flip 6, but it's a bit cheaper at $899. Now that's great for Samsung, however, Motorola is still beating them. The Motorola Razr is $699 and is oftentimes on sale, so you can get it for even less. And the Razr Plus, which is more higher end, but it's using last year's chip, and that one is $999 with their Snapdragon 8 Elite Razr Ultra being $1299. So it's a good look for Samsung, but they still got a little bit of work to go to make these more accessible for everybody. Now let's talk about the other Galaxy Z Flip 7. This is going to be actually it's going to be a pretty large upgrade. Even though I'm not really that interested in the flip phones, it is a pretty big upgrade. So on the cover display, that is growing to 4.1 inches. This is thanks to Samsung using the entire front, except for the cameras. So instead of having that large cutout that made it look like a manila folder, it's going to be the entire screen, just like the Razr. Now, that is that larger screen is because the bezels are so thin. It's actually some of the thinnest bezels Samsung's ever done on any phone, not just a foldable. So we're looking at 1.35 millimeter bezel on the cover display, and the inner display is also larger with thinner bezels. The overall size of the phone is larger with a 6.9-inch display. It is nice to see a bit more of a traditional smartphone aspect ratio. Now, spoiler alert, the Galaxy Z Flip 7 is the only one not getting a price increase this year. So it is staying at $1099, and it's available in four colors this year. So we have Coral Red, Blue Shadow, Jet Black, and then the mint that's going to be exclusive to Samsung.com. Now let's talk about the Galaxy Watch 8. The Galaxy Watch 8 is adopting that new design that Samsung launched last year with the Galaxy Watch Ultra, where it's got that squircle shape with that round display there, but it is actually quite a bit thinner. Now in our briefing, Samsung told us how much thinner it was, and it didn't really sound like that big of a deal. But after going hands-on with it earlier this week, it's actually a pretty big deal, and I'm really excited for how thin that Galaxy Watch 8 is going to be, which I'll be able to start testing that out later today. The Galaxy Watch 8 Classic is also still here, and it also adopts that squircle design, but keeps the rotating bezel, which is something that everybody loves. And hopefully they don't get rid of it, like it seems like they're getting rid of the S Pen. But we'll have to wait and see. These watches are launching with One UI 8 Watch, which opened for beta recently on current Samsung watches, but the update never actually rolled out. I've been waiting for it on my Galaxy Watch Ultra and haven't gotten it yet. I'm guessing this will start rolling out after today's announcement, because there's some features in here that, well, they're not actually secret because Samsung did already announce them. They are going to be exclusive to the Galaxy Watch 8 for a little bit at least. So that includes the antioxidant index, the new running coach, vascular health, and the bedtime guidance. This is really expanding Samsung's suite of health features within Samsung Health, which looks really good these days. Now the Galaxy Watch 8 is going to start at $349 for the 40mm and $379 for the 44mm. And if you want the LT model, it's going to be off about $50 more. Galaxy Watch 8 Classic is actually jumping $100 this year, because we did not get a 7 Classic last year, and the Watch 7 did get a price increase. So seeing $50 added for each year is not that big of a surprise. It does bring it in line with the rest of Samsung's watches. But we're looking at $499 for the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic, and it's going to be available in one size this year, but 2 colors. It'll be available in black and white, and every model will be LT. And that's everything that Samsung announced today at Unpacked that we know of ahead of time. Now there might be a surprise or two at the end. We're kind of hoping that we'll see the trifold, the Galaxy G, but we don't know about that ahead of Unpacked.